This morning, the community continues to rally behind law enforcement as Charlotte mourns the 4 officers killed in Monday's ambush.
This is video from a prayer vigil last night where dozens gathered to remember the lives lost and begin to heal. And some good news, though, to share this morning. The other 4 officers who were injured are all expected to make full recoveries. And
in just a few hours, a law enforcement processional is planned in Mooresville. It comes as we learn more about the suspect in Monday's deadly shooting.
So WCNC Charlotte's Richard Devane is standing by this morning with those updates. Richard?
Yeah, good morning, Sarah and Ben. A good Wednesday morning, everyone. As the tragedy continues to unfold, there are questions, and we're trying to bring you answers on exactly what happened when this terrible tragedy occurred on Monday. Now, today, the investigation continues into the events that happened on Galway Drive. In the aftermath, 4 law enforcement officers, 3 members of the U.S. Marshal's Fugitive Task Force, and 1 officer from CMPD lost their lives. WCNC has learned that the suspect, Terry Hughes Jr, had a lengthy criminal history, including weapons charges as a felon, and records show that Hughes Jr served prison time for breaking and entering. He was also arrested after a high-speed chase going over 100 miles per hour in Alamanch County. He was also wanted on several warrants in numerous counties, including Mecklenburg County, for failing to appear in court and possession of a firearm by a felon. It was one of those warrants that the task force attempted to serve Hughes at that house on Galway when they say he opened fire.
Well, the officers were actually approaching the residence when they took on gunfire. The suspect at the time had an upper advantage to the officers, so he was shooting from upstairs down at the officers.
Every task force officer, every deputy United States Marshal gets what we call high-risk fugitive apprehension training. But like any agency, will always take a look, and we will review this incident to see what there's lessons learned, what can be done. We are always striving to find ways to reduce deadly encounters and save lives.
Yeah, and one of the things that the CMPD will be looking at and the U.S. Marshal's Office is the possibility of another shooter. That is something that they said that they are looking at. Chief Jennings said that they're looking at that possibility. Of course, all of this will unplay over the next days and weeks because they have a lot of body cam footage and a lot of other evidence that they have to look through to gain some information. We're right here at CMPD headquarters in Uptown. Richard Devane, we'll send it back to you.
As well as those 2 women who were in the house at the time that they've been talking to. All right, Richard, thank you. A memorial service is now planned for Friday to honor fallen CMPD officer Joshua Iyer. Procession will begin at 9:30 a.m. at CMPD headquarters in Uptown and will travel to First Baptist Church. That's where a memorial service will begin at 10 a.m. Iyer was a 6-year veteran of the department. He leaves behind a wife and 3-year-old son.
Unfortunately, gun violence in the Queen City has become all too common. According to new numbers by Datalytics, Charlotte is one of the few cities where homicides are rising instead of falling. This time last year, we had 28 homicides, but so far this year, that number has nearly doubled to 44. One group is now seeking solutions to prevent more violence in the community. UNC Charlotte's Violence Prevention Center uses research to find evidence-based solutions. One option is looking closer at red flag laws.
What they do is remove guns from people who are at imminent danger, who've had a history of domestic violence, violent felonies, under a temporary order in order to keep communities safe.
The center hopes to receive funding this fall to research whether red flag laws prevent gun violence. For more information about the shooting and those officers, you can find complete coverage on WCNC.com. We have a minute-by-minute timeline as well as ways you can donate to officers' families. Just scan the QR code on your screen or head over to WCNC.com.